wherever you are, chances are it's Meridith, Elliott Powell, and myself, Mark Hunter. Hey, Meridith, how you doing?
I am good, thank you. I'm excited. It's sort of a big day for anybody who's watching us and participated in the National Speakers Association Influence Conference these last couple of days.
So, hey, walk people through, because there are probably a lot of people watching who are not familiar with it. Tell the audience.
Well, both Mark and I are members of the National Speakers Association, and just like everybody else, our conference had to go virtual this year. But Mark and I are kind of excited and celebrating today because two of our very dear friends were inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame. Sam Richter and Mark Kelly and Mary Kelly. And if you are in our world, that is a big friggin' deal, isn't it, Mark?
That is, because you get all kinds of perks with that. You actually get free upgrades on Delta Airlines and unlimited coffee at Starbucks. It really is. It is a recognition. It's recognition by the peers of the industry of literally serving the industry with the spoken word in a manner that goes beyond anything expected. It really is great recognition.
Yeah, and it was a great class last night, and both Sam and Mary were so well deserved. And even though we're close to both of them, we didn't know that was coming, and it was quite a surprise. So it made for quite an evening. So
you might say that they're good liars, because we were all ribbing each other like we normally do, and neither of them let on at all that they were, so hey, I give them credit. They should be in sales. They can lie. Oh, that was cold. That was bad. I'm sorry.
That was cold. Yeah. I gotta say, I think that Sam was better at it than Mary. Mary threw me a little bit, but Sam really had me thrown. I mean, I really bought into the fact that he said he'd forgotten about influence and he was going to see what he could do to attend the CPAE banquet last night. I really fell right into that hole that was Sam Richter last night. So, but again, really happy for him. So well deserved. I just walked around with a smile on my face all day long.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? I mean, the world does remain virtual. You got any flights planned?
No, actually, I was supposed to be in Pennsylvania last week working, but the governor of Pennsylvania didn't want any out of staters. I do know that another friend of ours actually was on a live stage today in Newport, Tennessee, but that's about the only one that I know of. Pretty much all my contracts right now are coming in live or virtual. People are reserving the right, so we may be settled down here for the long haul.
Well, I've got one event in September, live in person. It's a small event. And then I've got still two on my calendar for late in October that they still want to try to do live. So I don't know. I mean, who knows? But
big crowds or small
crowds? September's very small. The other two are probably about 150 to 200 people. So, that's not bad. It was interesting. I posted on Facebook the other day. Would you get on an airplane and fly? And wow, the comments all over the place in terms of people saying, oh yeah, they'll get on a plane. They've been on a plane. To others like, no, never again in my lifetime, and yada, yada, yada. What was interesting was I asked for no rants. Nobody ranted. Everybody was very civil. A few comments got a little bent out of shape, but really, no, everybody was very civil. So you can hold a civil conversation on Facebook.
Well, I do think that our world continues down this virtual path, and we're getting better at it and getting more skilled at it, but there's still a lot to learn and a lot to focus on. And I know there's some things we're going to focus on in today's show.
Yeah, there is. And there's a new piece that, I love how we brainstorm at 5 a.m. in the morning over email. I mean, you sent me an email like 5 a.m. I sent you back an email, and literally in a couple minutes, we decided that we're now going to do kind of a book mention. We're not going to call it a book feature. We're not going to call it a book report, but you and I both read a lot. And so we're going to grab Jeff Shore's new book, just came out a week ago, and it is a must read. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So every week, we're just going to talk about a book. So anyway, so that's it. But hey, I think Mike is kind of wanting.
You think he's hinting us to get on with the show? Yeah, it's sort of like being at a dinner party and somebody turns the lights down. I think that was Micah's way of telling us we better get to the real deal. So Micah, take it away. Take us into sales logic today.
When we prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
Who has made a prospecting call today?
This is Sales Logic.
Most people refer to VanillaSoft as the solution. It's the solution to ensure sales reps make the right number of attempts for every lead across all channels, including email, social, and the phone. It's the solution to serve the rep the next best lead.
Another edition of Sales Logic, where we dive into the strategies, discuss the tactics, give you everything that you need to know to be effective in today's marketplace, and make your sales strategy logical. I'm Meridith Elliott Powell, and I'm here with my co-host,
Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. How are we doing, Meridith?
We are good. We got a big show today, Mark. I mean, as those who listen to the show know, we cover 3 very distinct areas, and we've got a bonus section for you today. But we discussed the topic. We have the question of the day and the lightning round. So, Mark, you want to talk about the question or the topic of the day?
Well, I'll just go ahead and say, what I'll do is I'll mention the topic, whet your appetite, then I'll share the question. Let's bat that thing around. So the topic is, how do you get noticed in today's overly COVID-dominated marketplace? Because, man, it's noisy out there. But hey, before we get into that, let's get into the question. And then after the question, we got that little surprise bonus piece that we're going to add in, but we won't mention what that is yet. And now the question, hey, if you've got a question, send it to us at saleslogicpodcast.com or put it out on social media, #SalesLogic. Every week we answer a question. The question today is, how do I make the shift from selling in person to selling online? My entire sales strategy has been in-person selling. I take staff, I meet with the doctors in offices, and that is how I sell. I can't do any of that now. Jane Shidnow from Austin, Texas. Jane, thank you for that question. Meridith, you want to run with it first? Go for it.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a big question today. I bet, Mark, you're getting a lot of this too, is how do we really make the shift? I mean, as salespeople, we've had the luxury of getting in our cars, going to the place of business, and really getting that first emotional connection with people. I find it certainly easier to sell that way. So how do you begin to make the shift? Number one is that you've got to get comfortable in front of the camera. I really suggest to people who have never sold virtually before, back up and start setting up meetings with your existing customers, people that you already have that emotional connection with, because getting used to being comfortable on camera is going to be a lot easier with people who are going to sort of forgive you for being uncomfortable. But you need to get a lot of calls under your belt before you start going after new prospects or new relationships. So just set up some calls and get comfortable on camera.
You know, along with that, we all use Zoom. Zoom seems to be the COVID video connection tool. But there's also other great tools out there. Vidyard. I love Vidyard because it's a really quick, easy way to embed a video, little short video, into an email. And let me tell you something, it's getting very good open rates and so forth. But you mentioned something very key. Start off with your existing customers. Okay, now we're several months into COVID, so hopefully you're past that. But see, this is where I'm finding salespeople are having problems, because now they really have to be truly prospecting. See, up to now, they could kind of fake it with stuff they had in their pipeline, existing customers. Now they're like, it's empty. And so, yeah, this is where hopefully you've done enough practicing. But I really suggest get a tool like Vidyard, something like that, and start popping little short 15-second videos out there. The other piece that you have to keep in mind, because we're prospecting really all virtually now, your reputation goes ahead of you. Your reputation precedes you more than ever, which means you better make sure that your LinkedIn profile, everything that Google can say about you is good and is right and is accurate. Because believe me, people are checking you out more than ever. Because why not? You're trying to reach them on a device. So guess what? They're going to use that same device to check you out. So you better have your act together.
Yeah, I would add, I would say also, you need to let it go. I mean, let go of the fact that you're not going to be able to sell in person for a while. That's gone. So really take a deep breath and let go of the good old days, and understand that your customers understand that too. So they're going to be ready to buy online. But you've got to begin by selling urgent need. People are really busy today. They've got a lot going on. They're just trying to keep their own businesses afloat. So the first thing that you need to be approaching them with, as you get to know them and you get to connect with them, is something that's going to be relevant, that's going to be solving the pain point. I mean, when you go back to your avatar, your customer ideal, you better be really clear on their top 3 pain points. What are they most worried about? What's their biggest opportunity? What do they really fear? And then how are you positioning your product or service to solve that? Because while nobody has any time, we all certainly open emails and answer things that speak to our exact pain point. And I'll tell you something right now. So I was looking for just a backup virtual assistant. I've just been having this on my mind for the last couple of weeks. And I got an email this morning where the headline said, virtual assistant services made easy and effective. Now, this was at 5 a.m. while I'm brainstorming with Mark. I've got a whole morning routine I've got to get into. But that headline caught my eye because it spoke to the pain point that I had at the moment. You have to be doing the same thing. You know, they will talk to you virtually if you're solving a problem.
It's interesting. There are a couple words in there that grabbed me. Made easy. Made easy.
Yeah.
Because again, for anybody who's tried to find an online assistant, a virtual assistant, it could be hard. So when they use the word made easy, yeah, it kind of invited you to say, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. It invited you to open it up. Hey, there's a piece there back early on. We were talking about WFH, work from home. We began using that expression a few months ago, and then it kind of shifted to, well, it's BFH, buying from that connects to them. Let your personality come through regardless of what medium you're using, because otherwise you're really no better than Amazon or any other really shopping cart site out there. So anyway, hey, with that, we should probably jump into the topic, but we have a tease. We have a new segment we're starting, and that is Meridith and I both read a lot of books. We're always exchanging ideas on books, and Meridith's got a new book coming out this fall. I had one coming out. But anyway, so today we are starting this off by talking about a book. And every week we're just going to talk about it very briefly. Jeff Shore is a good friend of ours out of Sacramento. Jeff Shore Consulting. Check it out. But he wrote the book, Follow Up and Close the Sale. I talked to Jeff last week about this book, and let me tell you something. It hits some real sore spots. And the reason I like about it, he has what I call taillight follow-up. In other words, as soon as that prospect leaves your line of vision, however it is, as if they were driving away from you, taillight, you need to follow up with them. But this book is chock full of different ideas. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it or what your thoughts are on the book. Oh, she's reaching for the book now. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it. Okay.
Got the book right here. Jeff and I share this passion. This is my favorite part of the sales process is the follow-up system. And I love that he devoted an entire book to just follow-up, because what I love to say is that the sale happens in the follow-up. It always happens in the follow-up. Yet it's the part of the sales process that's never trained, that's always just sort of left to chance. And I really believe the better you get at follow-up, the more deals you're going to close and the more easy and effective your sales process is going to be. And I think that Jeff has written an easy to read book. What I love about it is that it's very tactical. He gives you a lot of steps, a lot of strategies. If you've ever wondered what a good follow-up system should look like, Jeff's really laid it out here in this book. Now, where do we send people besides Amazon who want to find out more about Jeff's book?
Well, we can jump out to jeffshoreconsulting.com. That's right. His website. Great place. Or just go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever it is. But you said something. It is easy to follow. It's easy to read because it is. There's stuff in there that you just think, wow, I can start doing this right now. So the book is by Jeff Shore, and it's Follow Up and Close the Sale. So anyway, hey, let's jump into the topic. The topic is, how do you get noticed in today's noisy, overly COVID-dominated marketplace?
Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do?
Yeah. Well, number one is you got to realize that you've got to get noticed. I was just on a sales call yesterday, getting ready to do a program for a sales team on how to sell effectively in a virtual market. And the first piece that we were talking about was the fact that I said, we need to bring marketing into the program. And they said, marketing into the program? And I said, yeah. I said, you're going to need marketing to help you get above the white noise and stand out from the competition. And they said, we don't need marketing. I said, yes, you do. I said, the marketplace is so crowded right now that people do business who they've heard of and about. So building that reputation in the marketplace is really important. Now, not all of us have the luxury of self-known for that in the marketplace.
Back when we were talking about the question, I mentioned your reputation precedes you. And wow, you have to be there online ahead of any conversation you're going to have with them. And I still am amazed at the number of salespeople. They wonder why. I had a sales call. Guy called me Friday. I couldn't tell if he was looking to buy or if he was looking to sell. But he called me Friday afternoon, and it was a conversation that was going nowhere. I go out, I look at this guy online, and believe me, it's a train wreck. Well, guess what? I shut that puppy down real quick because it was a train wreck. He had no chance. Now, if I had, while he was talking to me, gone out and seen some really positive stuff about him, I may have kept the conversation going. But no, it ended. You can't break through the noise unless you're at least at equal foot. An association website, if that's whatever it is, you've got to get known out there.
Yeah. So a couple of things that you can do to really start to build your reputation in the marketplace are, we started to talk about this at the beginning, but really get consistent with getting some videos out there. Video is really the new medium. I love video because one, it really lets people get to know you and get comfortable with you. So people who want to follow your message and probably want to talk to you about sales will connect to you on video. It also gives you a really good opportunity to let your personality through, as well as put your opinion out there. So you need to have an opinion about certain topics, about what you sell. Now, just to add to that, this is your opportunity to really differentiate yourself in the marketplace, because you're creating questions that you're shooting video about, but they're questions that you want your target market to think about, like, why they should look for quality over price when buying your product or service, or why service after the sale is important, or why experience or longevity of a salesperson matters. Whatever it is with those messages that you need your target market to know, this is your opportunity to start to use that and get that information out there. So it's reputation building, but it's also educating the marketplace as to what they need to know to choose you over the competition.
One of the ways that I love to cut through the noise out there is by forwarding links of critical news articles, critical pieces of information to people who I'm trying to get in touch with or people I'm looking to remain in touch with. I do this quite a bit. I might see an article on some news site online, and I'll take the link and opinion. But here's what I found. That breaks through to that person. They suddenly see, hey, this Mark guy, he's sending me something that's pertinent to me, that's important to me. And it's amazing how that absolutely one-on-one level. Now, I know you and I both use the same approach. I'm looking at the stack right over here, but you and I both send, I've got personal stationery that I will send out. And call it old school? No, I call it right school. I'll send out a personal handwritten note. Takes me just about a minute, to send out to people. And it's little things like this that sometimes what happens is people feel to break through the noise, they got to get macro, big. No, sometimes the way to break through the noise is to get micro, very tight and specific with the individual person.
Yeah. What I love about what you're saying about personal notes is that what you're looking to do is be different. Why everybody else in your industry is doing one thing, you want to be doing another. What's different? What's going to get you, what's is something that isn't used that often. Staying in touch by imagine how somebody feels when you're giving them information to grow their business before you're asking them for business. So think about the things that your competition is doing and what could you do that's just a little bit different that may.
When all the competition's going one way, I'm going to go the opposite. We want to come back, though, and talk about marketing and talk about educating the marketplace. Don't think that you can't educate the marketplace just because you don't have a marketing department. You educate the marketplace by, again, taking some article, posting it on LinkedIn, posting it on some industry news site, sharing some comments on it. In other words, you're helping to educate your marketplace, and they're allowing to see you in a more professional, more expertise manner.
Yeah. I also think you need to think about being a little bit edgy. You really need to have an opinion and you need to put it out there. Like, I know I'm getting noticed in the marketplace when some of the feedback that I'm getting is negative, in the sense that it's not that it's hateful, but people don't agree with me. I mean, I'm very opinionated about cold calling. I don't like it. And I know Mark's probably is one that doesn't necessarily agree with me on that. But the fact that I put my opinions out there and I get pushback on it tells me that I've taken a stance that is different. I'm able to back that stance up. And that creates a little bit of, of discomfort in the marketplace. And discomfort in the marketplace gets you noticed. Now, I don't want to go too far. I don't want to tell people that cold calling is wrong. My opinion is that it's not right for me. And so I have an opinion about that. And I think in today's marketplace, you need to have an opinion. Just like I told you, to me, the most important part of the sales process is the follow-up system. That's an opinion I have. So it's something that I become known for. And you want that little bit of edge.
That edge is created with your opinion, and everybody can have their own opinion. Everybody can't have their own facts. Okay, we're not going to go into a political conversation here on that. But I think people know what we're talking about here. I will always share my opinion. That's not an issue. And I can view it and I can share it in a respectful manner. But to me, it's the way that I believe I stand out in the marketplace. So, yeah. Well, how about a final thought on that? Then we should jump into that lightning round, because the lightning round is going to kind of build on this.
Yeah, really my final thought is that is when I think of the sales process today. I mean, I loved this question and I love that this, that we discussed this topic today, because I think that really these two go together. And that is that you need to think of the sales process in 3 distinct levels. And that first is building your reputation, getting above the white noise and standing out. So that people have heard of you and about you before you knock on the proverbial door. Then you when you think of it in that sense, I want you to think about, what am I doing to differentiate myself in the marketplace? And it's bigger than a value prop. It's differentiating yourself so people have heard of you. And when you nail that first step, then you're ready for the other two.
I love it. Hey, let's jump into the lightning round. Best strategies to differentiate yourself in today's go.
All right. So just for our listeners, again, our lightning round is, you grab your phone, you grab a pen and paper, because we're about to hit you with some ideas that you can get return on investment immediately. As soon as this, show is over, you can put them into place. So best strategies for nurturing your existing customers. Well, number one, understand you better be nurturing your existing customers, or they are going to move on to somebody else. But I'm going to say with that, I put them on a quarterly follow-up so that they go into my customer relationship management system. They pop up every quarter. And once a year, I do a full-blown checkup with them to see what else they need and what other services. 3 times a year, I'm just adding value to build their business.
I'm going to take that strategy and one up yours by, there's actually a higher tier that you do every month. In other words, this is what's key. You're segmenting your prospects, you're segmenting your leads, and based on the value and the opportunity to you determines the frequency with which you reach out to them.
Yeah, I would say your very best customers, if you're talking about your top 10 or your top 20, first, you better have identified them. You better know who they are. The second is you need to send them business at some point throughout the year, at least one piece of business. Don't make it all about them giving business to you. Make sure you give that business back.
And I'm going to add, get personal with them. When you understand customers on a personal level, they'll understand you and it's amazing how much deeper the relationship is and how much more value there is. Don't feel that's uncomfortable. It's only uncomfortable to maybe 1% of the people out there, but to everyone else, it's going to be, hey, I'm seeing you at a different level.
Yeah. And don't assume that you know them, and don't assume you know their business. People change and businesses change, and they change quite a bit. So at least on an annual basis, preferably twice a year, you should have a formal meeting with them that is really just about as if they were a prospect, and you are asking them questions about what their biggest challenges are, where they see their business going, because you need to do that deep check-in so that you're always a step ahead.
Which takes me to another point, and that is always have a business review mentality in your mind as to strategically, what can you do for the customer? And more importantly, what can you do for your customers' customers?
Yeah. This one is silly, but don't let it go unnoticed. Make sure at least once a year you thank them for being your customers. Let them know that they are your ideal. You appreciate the business. You appreciate the relationship. And Mary Kelly, who we were talking about earlier, turned me on to this, but she turned me on to this cookie lady in Colorado, and they do customized cookies. And I always send my best customers a dozen of those every single year that have their faces on them, their business on them, and everything. And it's simply just a thank you that says, I really value this relationship. It's important to me, and I appreciate you being my customer.
Well, I guess I must not mean anything to you because I've never received cookies from Meridith Elliott Powell. So anyway, let me share one final thing, and then I'll flip it back to you, and then we'll kind of close it out here. Hey, here's the thing. Your reputation does precede you. We've talked about this 2 other times, but I can't stress enough. When was the last time you went out to your website and looked at it, not in your server, but in an incognito website? In other words, exactly how customers would look at it. And it's amazing what you may just see or what you may not see.
Yeah. The last thing I'm going to say is really do think about setting a day aside, a year or something, and really do some type of customer appreciation for your business. Probably a lot of people listening to this are smaller operations like Mark and I run, and we tend to leave Customer Appreciation Day to the big corporations. But I always take the first week in May, which is Small Business Appreciation week, National Small Business Appreciation Week. And I use that as an opportunity to honor my customers and thank them for having a business so that I can have a business. So I think finding some type of way every year where you get them some type of gift and do that is a great way to nurture those existing relationships.
I'll be looking for my cookies the first week of May next year from you, Meridith Elliott Powell. Hey, it's time to wrap up. Thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend about our show. It's how we grow to help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you.
Most people refer to VanillaSoft as the solution. It's the solution to ensure sales reps make the right number of attempts for every lead across all channels, including email, social, and the phone. It's the solution to serve the rep the next best lead every single time. You need to get your solution at VanillaSoft.com.